Welcome to Revlog, where this week Bryan came in with notes.
I know I was already
multiple pages of notes. He's got ready to go there.
Whew.
I don't know what that means for our discussion, but
hope you have some time.
For the first time ever, he's prepared. Just kidding. Just kidding. Bryan, we love you.
Just kidding. He's not prepared.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's good comedy.
Today, Jesus cooked them breakfast.
Breakfast with Jesus.
Fish for breakfast with Jesus.
That's right.
On the beach. This is one of those things I wish we could have recreated. We could have lived this text out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been fun? Fish on the beach for breakfast.
In the Mediterranean. In the Mediterranean.
In the Mediterranean. Or Canyon Lake. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably the same. Yeah.
It's the same thing. I do wonder if we should have fish more at our church meals together.
You think?
Should we honor this more than we do?
I've never been a fish guy.
Really?
I really haven't. I'm trying.
You're trying to be a fish guy?
Well, the thing is, I know it's good for you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but the fish I grew up with, all the bottom feeder stuff. You know, you'd have the fish fry at church, and it was all
bones in it.
Yeah,
Right.
You love
fish fries.
Yeah.
I have very fond memories of those.
But all the, mahi, ahi.
We never had those at the fish fries.
Yeah. So I just, I'm having to, just didn't grow up with it, a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
But when I was in school, we had fish on Fridays.
Oh yeah.
Oh right.
Did y'all?
Doing Lent.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right.
Well, all the time.
You're saying all the time? Not
All the time.
we did during Lent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a large Catholic community in where I grew up in rural Missouri, and that was kind of an influence. So even in the school system, those fish patties.
Mrs. Paul's on Friday.
Yes. Maybe another reason why I'm not a fish person per se.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Is it still fit when they press it and shape it? I mean, does that still count?
At what point does it lose its salt lose its saltiness, fish lose its fishiness? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm
And the question that I always have when they come to the restaurants and they talk to you about the fish of the day, the catch of the day, what they always say is, it doesn't taste fishy. Well, what does taste fishy then? I mean, what does fish taste like? I mean, if that's your
chicken.
Okay, there you go. All right,
yeah.
so that's probably not where you wanted to go, but you started it.
They're having fish for breakfast.
Okay,
I mean, on some level, that is where we wanted to go today. But I think we recognize that these guys were fishermen. I mean, this was a part of their daily
staple.
routine. And why it might sound a little odd to us to have fish for breakfast. It probably was more normal to them. It
I think so.
was
In that part of the
an
world.
everyday kind of occurrence. I mean, fish was their staple, right? And their protein that they had.
And at the risk of losing 2/3 of our audience here, I've never been a fisher. I don't like fishing. I don't. And to me, this is the perfect example of why they spent all night in a boat and got nothing. And that to me is the epitome of fish. And
What else could they have been doing?
Yeah, fishing is one of those things that can strengthen your reliance on God.
there you go. And my brother-in-law Jeremy is knocking down the door because he loves to fish.
I've always liked it when I'm actually out fishing.
Really?
I've done that a few times, but it's the getting there and the
ready,
preparing and all that I don't like.
Tying the knots. Right there. Aaron, help us get to the text. So we're in John 21, last chapter of John here. Jesus manifests himself again to the disciples. Help us into this text.
Well,
Aaron.
there's parts of this story that I love that are just so ordinary. One of the first things I like are the disciples that John lists. First are Peter and Thomas. So Peter's yet to be fully restored. Right, and then Thomas, who we just last week, I want to talk about Thomas. I love talking about
my Lord and my God.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that the doubt, the whatever, but they're still in the conversation. They're still a part. They're being included. I think there's much to be said about that. The last time that Peter's interaction with Jesus, one-on-one, was pretty harsh, and so. That they're still having a place for these guys, where there's doubt, where there's some straying. I think there's something to be said about that. I love just the ordinariness of, hey, are you guys hungry? That Jesus is still meeting physical needs, that he's ministering to them at a place right where they are, and how simple is it? I mean, these guys were career fishermen, right? Have you tried the right side of the boat? I mean, that had. I mean, I'm not trying to be flippant, but I mean, honestly, like that. Okay, we don't know who you are, but we'll try that. But there's something that Jesus. Simple instructions are so compelling that they're like, well, let's give it a shot. After being in a boat all night with 10 other guys, and this isn't working, and yet, and the result of that, Peter has this. He wants to jump out of the boat and get to Jesus, and he has a fire for them, and they have breakfast. There's just something beautiful about this picture of camaraderie and friendship, and
yeah. And to be clear, I don't think Jesus was critiquing their fishing technique, and I think there's a little bit more than that, right?
That's fair. And but to me, that just the simple nature of it all,
Right.
I love the whole setup. Just these guys,
and
they're not in a room crowded around. They're out doing their thing.
Yeah, doing that. When I hear you say simple, ordinary, I think that's right. Another word I think of is the incarnational.
Yeah.
Right? Even in the resurrection, Jesus is participating in humanity
Absolutely.
in ways
That's
that are
huge.
purposeful.
Yes,
Right?
that's exactly right.
Brian, as you read this text, what did you hear?
I love how resurrection is working here for all involved, especially the disciples. It is something that we take as a matter of course when we read these. We go, "Oh, this is post-resurrection Jesus." But stop just a moment and listen to that. This is a person who has come back to life, and that's unprecedented. I mean, there were people raised from the dead in the Bible, but nothing like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were raised only to die again, as we know. But Jesus is back, and he's back in the regular rhythms of life, like you said, the ordinary things, and they can be forgiven, I think, for not recognizing him. They didn't recognize him, when he called to them from the shore. When I was years ago, when I would be pastoring a church, and I would be in my Sunday attire, every Sunday, my uniform, the coat and tie, and then I would often, if I would see people in the grocery store or out and about or wherever during the week, or on a Saturday or whatever, I've heard many times people say to me, "Oh, I didn't recognize you outside of your, of your uniform, of your coat and tie," and
you did have a Clark Kent, didn't you?
Yeah,
point that out?
that's right. He does have a Clark Kent look.
Yeah, so you had your Superman suit, and then your Clark Kent grocery store.
As I said before, always Clark Kent, never Superman. But if that happens in a setting like that,
right.
Imagine somebody dead, and you just don't expect to see this person alive again, and even though he appeared to them, I mean, did they trust their own senses? Maybe that was just a one-off, in the locked room, or I mean, it was real enough, but now here they are, back in their everyday lives, and they don't expect their Lord and Savior to appear again, and cooking breakfast, no less.
Yeah.
I mean, he is very physical.
Yeah.
Here, this is as physical as it gets.
I think, hearing you talk about him, that he is back. He was always perfect, but now he holds the keys to death and hell, and now he has descended. He has risen, and he's cooking breakfast.
And he's cooking breakfast.
Just steady the course. He was an example before. He's it's just an incredible, the constancy, the purity of who he is made manifest here.
Desiring to be
Yeah.
with and in the rhythm of life with all of us. It's a beautiful picture. It's a breathtaking picture. It's absolutely unexpected.
Amen. Aaron, as you came to this text, what question came to mind?
Why do people fish?
That is a fair question.
Didn't Jesus go fishing to pay the taxes once?
Found the gold in the.
He said, "Go catch a fish and
if
get
I
that
were
coin."
Somewhat assured that at least one of them had a gold coin. That
You would want Jesus with you on a fishing expedition. This story right here, the gold coin story, all of that.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
Yeah.
that's not really your question, is it?
Well, I mean, I'm
Kind
not
of.
going to lie. It does come up
I
quite
would
a bit.
stand by that question if I were you.
Well, mine's more metaphysical. Why, in the couple times that we've seen him now appear, Mary and here, what was his motivation for not being revealed immediately? And you posit a very, very good question. Just that, when you're out of context, and and death is out of context. Let's be honest.
Right.
They have no imagination for that.
Yeah, we cannot.
That's well said. Yeah.
Yeah.
No imagination for that.
But there had to be some reason, because even if I'm standing next to you and I'm talking to you, I would eventually get there that you're my pastor, but Mary did not realize that, and the distance might have been something,
But she did eventually get there, though.
yes, I want to think that there was some reason that clouded the mind for them to obey
Like
what
on the
he
road
said.
to Emmaus
Yes,
also.
and just that while they didn't understand who he was, they obeyed him, and so and again, I don't know if there's an answer to this question, but why?
We're just asking questions right now.
Okay,
We're
good,
not giving
good.
answers. We're asking
I
questions.
think my first question's better, but okay.
All right, Brian, let's come to your question. And it can't be, why do fishermen exist? So,
Mine is existential in that way. Wow. What is, and this is a continual interest of mine, what is resurrection really going to be like? And I think we have a window here, but I want to know more. I want to meditate.
you
on
mean
this.
like second coming? Is that what you're talking about?
What I mean is,
Because we're kind of living resurrection now, and we have this sense of a second coming.
But we have not been resurrected.
Gotcha.
I mean, as the Jews would say in the New Testament, in the resurrection, they would talk about that day, that resurrection day. So that's what I'm talking about. Resurrection day.
Yeah.
What will that be like? I mean, I think. Oh no, go ahead. What?
No, I was going to say I'm often dumbfounded. I believe it's Matthew that tells us when Jesus was part of the crucifixion and resurrection, the tombs were opened there around him.
And
dead people were walking in the community.
What happened to them? I don't know.
And what happened in that moment?
Yeah.
In that resurrection scene of the graves.
That's a great
Jerusalem
question.
there.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. I don't know the answer to that.
There's
Again, we're asking questions, not giving answers.
Right.
All right.
And I
continue.
love that because there's a messiness to our understanding.
Yeah.
Even a fuzziness to, we don't think about that a lot. I don't. We often think about, going to heaven when we die, but there is this resurrection and renewal of all things. And I think C.S. Lewis is a good imaginative guide here. Sorry.
One of the most wonderful Christian authors of all time.
Oh, wow.
Is it
that
because
great.
Is it because we're
Wow.
we're filming now?
Yeah, you don't want to get a lot of hate mail.
Wow.
That's what it is. But there is this sense that it is life as we know it, except without the heaviness and the weight of sin and the destruction that causes. But this is what We were created to be physical
Amen.
beings
Amen.
in a world God created, and that's a good.
Yeah.
It's a complete good, and I think everything good, we will see how good this really is in the resurrection.
So, so the last battle, I would commend, the end of the Chronicles of Narnia, just talking about Narnia as it is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Reality as it is. We are more real. We are more alive. Andy Crouch in his book Culture Making, and
What a great book.
Yeah, but it talks about in Revelation, the New Jerusalem is a city.
Yeah, right.
And a city is culture. A city is
right.
You've got. And so the idea of being fully restored and redeemed as physical, corporeal,
and the nations coming into the city.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
This picture
And
of coming
corporeal is a part of that. The
Right.
body is good.
Mm-hmm.
The body is good. This is
Amen.
the body we will have, renewed but raised from the dead.
Well,
Amen.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
man.
Is it young Elvis or old Elvis? We don't know.
Okay.
Exactly. And we would love to hear your thoughts and comments both on fishing and this text if you would comment below.